Madam Chair, we're live.
Thank you. Today is September 10th and the time is 5:06. I'm calling to order the Baldwin Park Stakeholders Oversight Committee regular meeting. Before we get started, I'm actually had a cold about a week ago. I'm fine, but that tickling cough is lingering. So I did ask Pastor Jackson if I have a cough attack, he's gonna just step in. So we don't have to impact the meeting. Nonetheless, Pastor Jackson, can you please lead us in an invocation?
Heavenly Father, we come before you right now in the name of the Lord. We give you praise, glory, and honor and thanksgiving. You said to acknowledge you in all of our ways, and you will direct our path. And this is what we need. We need your divine directions for the decisions that we make concerning the SOC money. So, Holy Spirit, lead, guide, and direct. In the name of the Lord, we pray. Amen.
Now, if you could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chief Deputy City Clerk Quiñones, can you please have a roll call?
Yes, Chair.
Or can I have a roll call?
Chair Lara,
Here?
Vice Chair Jackson,
Here.
Member Hernandez,
Here.
Member Marta Cárcamo,
Here.
Member Orozco. Let the record reflect, Member Orozco is not here. Member Rodriguez,
Here.
Member Nguyen,
Here.
you have quorum.
Thank you. At this moment, we will open public communications. Chief Deputy City Clerk Quiñones, is there anyone looking to speak?
I haven't received any papers.
Okay. Anyone else in the audience looking to speak? Now would be your time.
Greg Tuttle, business owner. First of all, I want to let the people up here to know this is not personal, what I'm going to say. This has to do with council and directors, that it's their issue. It's not yours. You've been put in this position and I feel sorry for you, but I want to run down some stuff for you. First of all, I did a list of all this stuff that you donated money that was supposed to go to the community and help the community, the poor people and the people in Baldwin Park. We bought 11 police officer cars, 1.1 million. We did bus stops, 368,000. Two-way radios, 1.2 million. Plans for the sports complex, 80,000, which we don't even know where it's going to be built. Kabuto tractor, 59,000. Crew cab truck, 75,000. Morgan Park, another $1 million, which we just keep redoing. And then this Rubio Park over here, which is a cluster, 200,000 for maintenance. And then this is from May 23rd to July 24th. You've wasted 4.1 million of the citizens' money, that this tax money was go to help citizens, not the city's responsibilities. And this is all due to lazy directors. You get grant money for police stuff. You get federal funding for police stuff. You get Quimby funds for parks. You get the San Gabriel Transit bus that would help for the bus stops. But nobody does that. You know why? Because they know you're the sugar daddy. You got the money. You got the money here that they want. And they're using you people to put this money in. This is not helping the community. This isn't helping the poor people that want their kids can't play baseball. They're not helping getting this sports complex done. You don't even know where the property is going to be. What are you going to do for architect? Just draw something up. $80,000 you put up for that? You people need to understand this has got to be pretend it's your money, not throw it away. And the city's bringing all these ideals in and you guys are rubber stamping it. It's got to stop. just like this stuff you're gonna do today with this $130,000 for gift cards. People are gonna go to the other cities where the tax is cheaper to spend money, not here, because you raised the taxes here. And now they have to go to other cities like Chino, like West Covina to get cheaper tax money. But you people don't understand that. And you need to understand you're getting led by the city manager. You're getting led by the person over here that's the finance director. She shuffles money around. This should not have, any of this stuff you guys are authorized should have never been paid for. You guys need to wake up or just disband this committee.
Thank you,
It's a
Mr.
joke.
Tuttle. Your time
Thank
is
you.
up. Anybody else wishing to speak?
Don Rios residents. At the beginning, when we start trying to raise the taxes, I was part of that committee, going to different meetings all over the city, at the school cafeterias and everything. If we got 200 people within all the schools, it was too much. That's why toward the end of it, I said, no, forget it. I saw where it was going to go to. What they're doing to you guys, they're using you guys as puppets. No matter what you guys vote on, city council's going to override you, right or wrong. They don't care. I've been here a couple of times. I've been asking for the bus stops, put some awning on them and everything. The people right there waiting for the bus are out there. Speed bumps, that's for the community. But our directors, they don't care. They're outsiders. They come from other cities. They don't care for the people right here in Baldwin Park. You guys have to put a stop to it. Don't let just because they say they need it. The Sotalo was supposed to be run with the money they were gonna get because they were gonna rent out the restaurants right there and everything. That was gonna be part of that thing, not the money from you guys are using it. So like Mr. Tuttle said, wake up. See what they're doing to you guys. It's something that, you know, I've been here almost 50 years in Baldwin Park. It's getting worse and worse. When our engineers, our directors and everything, all they come in here is to get their check. Do they care for public works, or do they care for the senior center and everything? I just heard they broke down their air conditioning. Why don't they have a contract with an outside firm to come in every 3 months, check it out, see if it's gonna be running? But no, it broke down. I brought that same situation on the council meeting a week ago. But they tell me the money that the contractors are giving out, that's what they're using the money for, to help the air conditioners. They don't even have a program to it.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Rios.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Josie Plata. Board up there. I think you just heard the two gentlemen before me tell you exactly how it is here. You got certain people right here. And the other gentleman's not here right now, Parks and Recreation. They are leading you what they want. That is not the way it's supposed to be. You are supposed to be telling them how the citizens want this money being used. It's terrible. You have to wake up and start doing your job, what you were volunteered to do, and start putting a stop to what they do. Now, this Rubio Park, who is gonna own, whatever you want to call it, Zocalo Park? Just to go take a picture? For the homeless to go and claim ownership? Who owns right now Main Street? You go right there after and see who's there sleeping. Now, put a stop to all this homeless coming in here. Grants are not free, wherever it comes from. Grants are from our pocket. That's where they're from. You sure don't know. Well, put it in a different way. I wonder how many of you are financial successful. All this taxes is going to keep business away from here, from the city. Who wants to bring in business here when we're being taxed so high? They're going to go somewhere else. At the beginning of this year, I was shocked. I went to see about buying a recreational boat. Yeah, we don't have it, boat sales here, but I went somewhere else. I had to pay this taxes. Every time I'm going to buy ammunition, I got to pay this taxes. Same way with cars. You are wasting money, wasting the opportunity that you have to do what is correct.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Okay, seeing no one else, I'm going to move that we close public communications. Next on the agenda will be new business, request for Measure BP funding, SHOT BP Local Digital Gift Program Card, YIFTY.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting, we provided you a teaser introduction to this program in terms of it being brought forward for your consideration. You know, we're 3 years removed now from the end of the pandemic, if we can see an end to it. And we can think back of how devastating it was for many people. Obviously, the most significant impact, it was people's health, but certainly, you know, the well-being of businesses and how it was a struggle for many businesses to navigate through the pandemic and the aftermath of it. So the city council implemented a program called the YIFTY as the trademark. So I'll use the trade name for simplicity. A program called the YIFTY, where you know you buy one, you get one free, or you buy one, get 50% off, if you will, for local small businesses to catalyze and get some momentum going again for the businesses to come out of the pandemic impacts, those who had survived. And so the city council had allocated $100,000 for the program plus $15,000 for the administration, so a total of $115,000 of ARPA money, federal money that, as has been said, it's federal money, but it is taxpayers' money. Of course, all money for government generally derives from tax sources. So the ARPA money, while federal grants, the city council allocated $150,000 for the business YIFTY program. And it quickly became very popular. The uptake and the demand picked up rather quickly. And building on that, you know, now we're 2.5 years later, and we're the thought with the holiday season coming up and businesses still, you know, trying to get back on a strong footing, we thought it would be an appropriate investment for Measure BP that we want you to consider. And we have it as a request for investment, a request for funding, but it's an investment. You know, everything you do here is an investment in the community. So, we would like to do a brief presentation of how the YIFT program works. And then for your consideration, we have somebody on Zoom, actually, Barry Foster, whom I do not see on the screen, for him to do this brief presentation. And David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Come on.
Really quick, Enrique, is it okay if I just note that our committee member Gregor Roscoe has now joined us?
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Did you recognize him?
No, let the record reflect, Member Orozco is here.
Thank you.
Very good. Harry, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Somehow we don't see you. Maybe you don't want to be seen. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. You have the floor now, Harry.
Thank you. My name is Barry. GL Companies. And I'm happy to be here today. I just got 3 slides. I want to kind of briefly go through that talk about the structure of the program, but
Okay. Barry, let us do a sound check. Can you guys hear him?
Distorted.
Barry, if you have it handy, we would suggest maybe using a headset. Do you have a headset or a different microphone you could use? You sound different, very distant.
Let me just wait. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you. I can tell it's going to be difficult for the room to hear you though. You'll have to try to speak up.
Again, my name is Barry Foster. I'm a principal managing director with HL Companies. Let's talk about earlier that starting to do these digital gift card programs became very popular in the cities back when the pandemic hit, and it's a way to really help small business, especially. A lot of small businesses are still struggling. Their sales may be up, but they're not back to pre-pandemic in terms of margins.
It appears Barry may have lagged out. His webcam is frozen and I can't hear his audio.
Try to log back on again.
Barry, you might consider calling in on a phone or something. Do you have another device you could use for the call? Or if you turn off your webcam, it might save some of the bandwidth and increase your voice quality.
Harry, can you hear us?
Hear me now? Are you able to hear me?
You're coming in whisper quiet, Barry, but I can hear you. I know the room can't.
All right, I'll try to talk louder than that. Again, these kinds of programs are really critical to small businesses and helping them really truly recover from the pandemic and just kind of the economic times that we had before. And so, if you go to the next slide. So EFD is our partner in this. They've done a lot of programs all over the United States. They've done 600, well, presently they have 650 active gift programs in the United States, and they've got over 18,000 merchants participating. We've actually worked with EFD with 15 cities for gift card programs, and we're currently working with 10 right now. Some of the other places in Southern California that we work with, there's Candy Lake, Lake Forest, Lemon Grove, Southgate, and Upland. Go to the next slide. The Baldwin Park program was launched in January 2023. It was a buy one, get one. So if you bought $25, you could get a $25 gift card as a match. Typically, and what Baldwin Park did, what Gifty recommends is doing cards for $25, $50, $75, or $100. And the city can choose to do a buy one, get one, or they could be buy one, get 50%. It's really up to the city in terms of what they want to do. In Baldwin Park, they started with a buy one, get one, and then they ratcheted it down to doing a 50% match. All the funds expired in December of 2023. The timing of doing something like this is really good now, especially with the holiday season coming up soon. And so I think that having that opportunity to revive the program right now with the holiday season coming up, it's really an opportune time to do that. Can you go to the next slide, please? Again, Baldwin Park had 21 participating merchants. 16 of those are restaurants and other food-related businesses, 3 beauty or barber shops, and there are 2 more general retail stores. In the programs that we've done, a lot of restaurants benefit by this, and then also retailers. The trick is that it can only be used with merchants participating from Baldwin, and if there's small businesses, but it really has a chance for your residents by having to buy one, get one. I'll also give you a chance that for cards that you're selling to people outside the community, you're drawing their dollars, their consumer dollars into the business participating in the program. So you're pulling dollars in from there. Can you go to the next slide, please? Oh, that's it. Again, I think it's a really opportune time to do a program like this now, especially with the holiday season. The first time we did it, it was very popular, and I think it would really help small businesses, especially right now with the holiday season coming upon.
Right. You saw by the statistics, restaurants tend to be the most popular places for the uptake of the card, but it can apply to many barbershops and beauty salons. We're beginning to really gain more traction once folks realize that it's a good incentive, and so we would obviously advertise and promote it with all the small businesses in the city. There's a criteria of what a small business means. It's by number of employees, if you will. And so it's not intended for, the big stores or the chain stores or anything like that, or even chain restaurants. Some franchises, as you know, are family owned. And while they may be a franchise, they're actually a local restaurant because it's owned by a family. So they would qualify as a small business. But those that are corporate owned, like Starbucks, for example, all the stores are corporate owned, so they wouldn't qualify. It's really a great way of incentivizing economic activity. And to the extent that we can be a little selfish, the more sales tax, as you know, the more sales revenue and the more sales activity that happens, the more sales revenue that it brings to the city. So we think it's a win-win proposition. And with the holidays just around the corner, we thought the timing would be appropriate to present this to the stock for your consideration.
So I have a question, just because I'm trying to understand this. So if a small business says, yes, I want to do this, what are they committing to? Or what does that look like for a small business?
Yes, and so I will answer and then Barry, you stay on the line, Barry, but the business has to sign up for participating in the YIFT because, you know, there's a relationship between the card and the YIFT program. So the business has to be willing
To accept it.
to accept it in a simple registration with YIFT.
Okay. And then that 100,000 would be for the cards themselves.
Yes.
And then where does the match come from? Or
So,
is this the match?
so
Sorry.
let's say I'm a customer
Huh.
and I go to, let's just say a restaurant,
Mhm.
okay, restaurant X, who's a participating YIFT merchant. And I say, you know, I want to buy $100 YIFT card. So the restaurant will sell $100 YIFT card. The city, if we're matching one for
Okay.
one, the city will throw in another $100.
$100.
So the customer ends up with $200 for that merchant. And so now the business just sold $200 worth of business.
And then we're making the tax revenue on those $200?
Yes, once they get redeemed and get used to pay for a service or a product, a meal, then the tax will be added
Okay.
to the expense.
Okay. Thank you.
If I could add on too, just want to clarify, so the match part comes out of the $100,000. And then, when you purchase the digital gift card, it can be used at any one of the participating merchants, and it doesn't cost the merchant anything at all. So the partner that Yuki has is MasterCard, and as long as you take, card right now, it's very simple to do.
Mary, this GFT program, is it a nationwide program or is it only for Bond Park?
No, they're a trade name that is widely used around the country.
Right. So somebody could buy here, let's say, I don't know, $500 worth of gift cards, right? And we fork out another 500 to match, right? If they spend it in another city,
Oh, I'm sorry, member. No, you buy the gift cards specific to a merchant in Bolton Park and can only
Okay.
be redeemed at that merchant.
okay,
I can also
that's
share
fine.
my own experience with Yifty that the last time it launched. I'm not sure if anyone else used it, but my own family did use it the first time it launched. What happened with us was it was all online, so we didn't even go to the merchant in person. It was online. We saw the advertisement. We purchased $100 worth of gift card, and the city then sent us another Yifty gift card that was $100. The catch was the $100 that we personally spend does expire within like no, the $100 that the city gives us, you have to use it within a certain time frame before it expires because that's when that funding would end. But the one that we use would be able to use to merchants. The beginning, there was only about like 6 merchants that signed up, but as time went on, the city did get about like 12 merchants around that were food. The ones I remember were a lot of food places, really small local businesses, some barber shops on Main Street. They also had the saddle place that was like down right next to the Bank of America, and some other places that were really local that they did accept the gift card at first. But and even to like I still had some money on it like a couple months ago, and I used it at the Carnita Urapan right there, that I like to taco nacho, and they still accepted it to this day. So if you still have like a Yifty gift card from that you have the original one, you're still able to use it, and you're able to use it at any of those merchants. And I would not be able to go to another city who uses Yifty, like I think it says Southgate use it. It would not redeem my Baldwin
Okay.
Park one because it is specific to Baldwin Park, and only those merchants that agree to use it uses it. And what happens is it's like kind of like, I think they said a MasterCard. So you get like a MasterCard number and all they have to do is punch it in like they would a credit card number, and then it accepts it. And their program should be, if they signed on with it already, they should accept it as long as they put in numbers like a credit card, and they work like that. It wasn't really difficult, but the thing of my main concern that I mentioned last time is I went to some merchants who said that they were part of Yifty program, and I'm sure they were. They did not know how to use the Yifty gift card though, because like I said, they were confused about the debit card situation. But that's just one thing I really want to flag with businesses that we do this time, because I wouldn't want someone else to use this and be like, oh, this business said I approved it, and then the business like, I have no idea what you're talking about, because that did happen to me and my family, and that would just be a bummer for someone who uses that. I just would like to know if that actually did help the businesses, the ones that were part of it last time, if they would be like, yeah, we want to do that again. That would be my first question before approving anything about this.
I have not a good experience with that. It's not in Baldwin Park, but it was in West Covina. The kids were selling these, and so I bought some for my wife and I. And some places that the stores were on there, they wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take it at all. No, we're not part of the program. So one of the things that I would like to know is how successful was the last time that these cards was passed out in Baldwin Park, and how much revenue did come forth from these cards?
Yeah, you saw on the slide, Pastor Jackson, it was fully subscribed. A redemption, which is what Sasha was referring to, when are they redeemed? And they do come with an expiration date, but right now I think we have 97% redemption. That means that folks have cashed them all in, fully subscribed. And so it was a slow start. Some of the small businesses were hesitant because is this too burdensome? Is it going to require us to do all sorts of extra work? So there was hesitation in the beginning, but then once it got past that initial stage, then it became very successful. And which is why we want to do it again, and definitely market for other businesses that were hesitant then and never got around to signing up. That way we can reach all the businesses. But yes, it was very successful, Pastor Jackson.
No, sir. If it was successful the first time around, shouldn't the city keep doing it instead of push it over to the SOC funding? I mean, it's all going back to the same ballpark, right?
Yeah, I mean, Measure BP is a sales tax, and you want to generate sustained sales tax, right? So you got to
Right.
incentivize the activity, the economic activity, so that it's not just ensuring to retain the current economic activity, but try to increase it.
No, I understand, but you did it before. The city of Baldwin Park did it before, and it was successful. Why wouldn't the city keep on doing it instead of us, the SOC committee?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we are one city. It's
Right.
I know it's
Right, but the funding that I'm looking at right now is spending. We keep on spending for things that. So I was driving over here. I'm sorry. I was driving over here and I saw that the bus, the one that we got on to go to see all the parks and stuff, and I thought to myself, we haven't done any of that except for the 80,000. And every time I'm here once a month, I spend something or I approve to spend something. And then I'm looking at here, 100 grand, 15,000 for the admin and marketing agreement, another 15 on contingency, which is whatever comes up. But this was a program that the city did it before, and it was so successful, as you stated. Shouldn't the city keep on doing that and keep this 100 grand for something else that we were set out to do? Like the bingo machine that I like that.
Yeah, that's coming up, by the way. So don't worry, that's coming your way.
It's just a
Javier.
win.
Okay. Yeah, no, so when we funded the first phase, that was ARPA. I mentioned that in the beginning, ARPA funding. Federal money, it's still tax money. I mean, the only source of revenue for government is tax money. Let's not kid ourselves. Government is not in the business of generating profit or generating money. It's tax money. Oh.
I don't mean to put a damper on the thing. Of course,
Don't.
it's tax money and plus stock money is tax money. But what I'm seeing where my brother is saying it was successful then, it was paid for then, why not continue the way it was going?
Well, what I mean successful, it generated the economic activity that it was, and not that which is what the sales tax activity is meant to be. That's proprietary to SOC, right? You're a sales tax entity. So we want to generate sales activity. It's very proprietary to SOC.
I have one concern. So you want us to invest 130,000
Yes.
to give 130,000 out of SOC money, when in the past it was funded by ARPA or extra funds perhaps that we had. I don't think that we got enough back to say, let's put something up front. We already had those funds. I think it would be a waste to take away from what we have already to see if we could generate more. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I hear what, my other counterparts here and that's the same concern I have is if this was an investment that we did in the past and that was used by other funds, why are we now pulling out from what we have gained for the city to kind of hope that we get something more in return? For me, it's like I'd rather keep the 130 and see what else we can invest it in instead of seeing if it's going to work out and putting money up front.
Yeah, I think, remember, the notion here is that you incentivize economic activity, right? Whether it's increasing sales revenue for any business. In this case, we're talking retail business because that's where the sales tax revenue occurs, not wholesale, not the retail. And so, we talked about one of the investment categories being business retention and business development. And this is very much along that goal is, how do we ensure that businesses feel the support of the city, that businesses feel good about staying in the city and growing? Yes, for the good of the city residents, but also for the good of generating and retaining the generation of sales tax. That's a constant challenge, certainly for the business owners, but for us to ensure that we have that constant revenue of sales tax.
I'll just make another comment. As someone that lives here, a resident of Baldwin Park, and voting on this measure without purchasing a Yifty card or anything like that, if I know that I am going to get something in return, like what the community asked for, safety, more parks and more recreation for the community, I don't need an incentive to purchase and invest in my community. I think if community members see that we are allocating the funds back into the community, we don't have to purchase or give something back. I think they will willingly do it, knowing that it's going to come back to them, or they're going to be able to reap the benefits. So for me, instead of going to West Covina to eat, I will eat here in Baldwin Park because I know that the SOC money is going to come back to me. I don't need to purchase a card to do that.
Yes, and I understand what you're saying, Member Carcamo. The idea, though, is that we go through the economic cycles, right? And even for just the normal economic cycles, never mind the recessions and all the peaks and the valleys of the economic cycles, but maintaining a reliable, steady sales tax base takes an investment. We gotta support the businesses because it's, on the one hand, it's the consumer, as you pointed out, but on the other, it's also the business owners who feel, well, can I stay in the city? It pains us all when every time we see a business go out and under. That's not ever good. I know we got to recruit new ones. And yes, we got to do that, but we also got to retain those that are here. And that's what this is intended to do.
I have one more question. What is and I know we're the city and, you're saying the funds, it's still city funds. What is our city council doing to retain these businesses or to help these businesses stay here?
Well, you are an extension of the city council. I know that more and more you see yourselves as like a separate entity.
Oh, no, together. So what are we doing besides this Yifty gift card, what else are we doing to help the businesses?
Yeah, I mean, we create vitality, right? The revitalization of the downtown corridor, that's one. I know there may be many comments about Zocalo and but that project is going to energize the downtown life for the entire city, for folks to feel that this is a center of activity, of vitality, of vibrancy. And that's what happens when you create an environment that is conducive to people feeling good about shopping and buying and spending their hard-earned dollars in a location. That's what this city council is doing. Our streets, our open space. That's what Zocalo Park is, a center of activity. That's an investment. That's what you're doing. That's what the city council is doing.
Yes, I think the Zocalo is a little bit different than this because it might bring in more, people to come in, and invest in our city and purchase from our city and consume in our city. But this is a little bit different to me. This is like putting up front something that we don't know if it's going to bring or be as successful as it was in the past. I don't know if anyone else has anything.
I personally think it will be successful. And as your point as a consumer, I lived in Baldwin Park. My family lived in Baldwin Park for over a decade. And the Yifty program helped us find local businesses that we would have never looked at just because we don't look at online media. That was a way of advertising as well. But my main concern with this is if that actually helped the businesses, is if that's what they want in our support. because even as a consumer, it was nice for me. But like I said, even places that said they were doing it did not. And I just want to make sure that I don't want to vote on this. I'm just telling you now, without knowing for sure that businesses that approved of it last time are going to want to join in and they felt that it helped out. Because we're assuming that right now, because on the PowerPoint, I didn't see the proof of businesses saying, yes, I like this. I want to see those quotes of them being like, we would do it again, we would participate again. Because as a consumer, I liked it, but I'm not a business. I don't know if that actually helped them. And I would want to know that before even thinking about voting on this, because I just want to hear proof from them, from the people we're trying to help, that this is actually helpful. Because we can assume all we want that this is going to help them, but if we don't hear from them, I don't feel comfortable voting on it.
You guys asked a lot of questions, good questions. On this, you said you used the card. Oh, I'm sorry. You said you used a gift card a year later, a year and a half. What's the time frame on the city money that's allocated? Is it end of the year? It's need to be used? Or is it a time frame 6 months from the purchase date? Is that really in fine print somewhere or somewhere out there where people know they have 6 months to spend this and they have a year and a half to spend this? That's one question I have. Do you know the answer?
So if you saw on the slide, we rolled it out in January of 23, and by December, it had been fully subscribed. But in terms of the expiration date of the card, pardon me?
2020. In the background.
March?
It says during the 2022 holiday season, that's when the gift card was launched, not 2023.
Yes. So in terms of the expiration date, Greg, Barry, do you know if the Yifty has an expiration lifetime?
For the city match part, it was 6 months. It could be a year. It can be whatever the city wants to do for that. But the original card never goes away. But it's the match piece that the city needs to determine what the expiration is. It could be 6 months. It could be 9 months. It could be a year. It could be whatever the city wants to do.
Did you hear that?
Yes. My next question was, is there a fee every time you use it, or $100 is $100?
No, there's a fee, minimal though. There's the Yifty fee.
So if I use it 10 times for $10, I'm gonna run out of money the 10th time because there's a small fee every time I
So
use
the
it.
question is whether we pay the fee upfront to Yifty ourselves. Barry, do we pay Yifty a one-time fee?
It's 1% of the transaction, and so they would come out of that $100,000.
I struggle.
I said 1% of out of the $100,000.
So it's a one-time fee that we pay Yifty, correct?
And the way it's set up, it doesn't cost the merchant anything then.
Barry, it doesn't cost the merchant anything. It costs the city the 1%.
As part of the $100,000 that's being funded.
Did you hear that? No.
Oh, barely. I'm just trying to get it. So 1% of $100,000. So it costs, there's a $1,000 fee from Yeti. Is that correct?
So that would be $1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, $1,000.
And as this program rolls out day one, and there's 10 businesses signed up, the consumer knows those 10 businesses that are
There's
available
already
for them to purchase?
21 signed up previously. I would anticipate they would all continue. If they still continue to take the cards.
That was my next question. So they said if there's 10, they'd continue to be 10 as long as they accepted the cards. That's what I.
Yeah, there's a website where that is posted, as well as the businesses sign up, their name will be added for participating businesses.
That was my next question was, so if there's 10 in October and 2 more sign up, how would the consumer know there's 2 more?
Yeah, so we have it, there's a Yifty website, and then our own website. It'll be on there.
Okay. So there's a possibility there could be 20 at the end
And
of
that
the
does
year.
happen, by the way, Greg, because as more businesses, we do outreach, and as more businesses find out, then they're gonna want to sign up. So it doesn't all happen in the beginning. It's progressive.
So in the hindsight or both sides of the coin here, the 10 original may not be there at the end of the year, but we may have 8, 7 different new businesses at that end of the 12 months or at that point in time.
Right. Some may sign up toward the end. Some will jump on it right away. There was one business in particular, a restaurant, that was really promoting it, and was probably the highest uptake business in the first round.
Once they sign up, can they opt out
Can they opt out?
after they sign up?
Let's see, if they've already sold, if they've already sold gift cards, well, those are as good as cash.
Okay.
They have to honor them.
So I mentioned before my own experience, they were opt-in, but they did not honor the Yifty gift cards. So that's kind of pushing that we really need to double check with the merchants that is this something that they want to continue doing, because they, even though it says on the Yifty website that it did accept it, they had no idea. I went to 2 businesses and they had no idea what I was talking about with that.
Even though
Even though they were on the website and they've been on there since like day one. So that's what I
I'm
really want to flag.
I'm hoping we can establish a better sound connection with Barry, but Barry, we're thinking about just calling you on your cell phone. And you don't have to give out your cell phone here publicly, but can you email me your cell number?
On the spot, so I know they say they do want to flag that for everybody. That was your experience, Pastor.
But again, it wasn't Baldwin Park. It was
I
West
was in
Covina.
Baldwin Park.
Because that is definitely an aberration, but how you experienced it, so it's not like but that's part of what the chair was asking earlier. When a business agrees to participate, they cannot do that, but obviously they did it.
Do we know how much money we gained with that investment that we did, or why is it successful, or what was the dollar amount that we were able to capture?
Well, for sure, depending on the match, right? But let's say if we go 1 for 1, then if it's 100,000 invested, then there's a $200,000 total. We go 50%, then that means that there's 3 times the economic activity and that it gets generated with this incentive. The assumption, which I believe is a correct assumption, is that this incentive does generate new activity. Because folks who would patronize a business would have done already, but this creates additional activity. So the assumption can be made, and I said correctly, I believe, that whether if we go 50%, that means that 50% generated, 3 times as much. But if it's 1-for-1, it's all new activity for the business.
But do we know and the amount? Is it,
I have it.
is it that 207?
Yeah, but remember that would be minus 100,000 because of the initial investment. So that would
So
be the profit.
It would be 92,000 was what we made. About 92,000.
Yeah, if you subtract the, yeah.
I have a
That's
budget.
wrong.
That's not the right math.
I'm looking at just sales tax, $100,000, 10.25, we get $10,000 back. Is that an easy number to
Yeah,
do?
so the 1% that applies to Measure BP, right? That's 1%. But looking at the greater benefit is generating activity, and now the businesses, as Sasha mentioned, businesses that might not have been known existed, or folks who go because of the incentive and now realize, oh, this is a place I can actually now frequent. And now that generates more of a steady activity. So it does have a multiplier effect. Definitely.
I have a quick budget question. So I know that during the pandemic and following that the government gave out money to support schools, cities, and so forth. So in some sense, there was a surplus of money to be able to either have more personnel or more supplies and things of that nature. I also know that with budgets, there's a lot of line items where you don't have a lot of discretion. You just can't use the money for certain things. Kind of going back to what's been asked before, does the city council, like, is there a space in the city budget where this could come out of? Or is it totally like it can't even come out of the general fund? There's nowhere to fund this line item. That's my question.
Yeah, I think, Rose can definitely help me with that answer. This was ARPA in the first round. And, anything else would have to be the general fund. But Rose, I know you keep a tight grip on all revenue.
As city manager mentioned earlier, the first time when we had this program, it was funded by the ARPA fund, which we have allocated the ARPA fund in different area to assist so many programs, over 200 programs, such as helping the daycare and senior. And this is one of the hundreds program that we have allocated by using ARPA fund. The intention to allocate that to this program is to provide support to the local business, at the same time benefit the local residents in addition to the business. And now the ARPA fund has almost exhausted or has been fully allocated. That's why ARPA fund cannot no longer continue to support this program if we want to continue. And also, based on the current fiscal year budget, and we have utilized the general fund budget based on the revenue projection that we are going to receive. That's the budget question that I can answer.
Anybody else?
I just got one question. Is the business that are gonna be involved in this project, are they gonna be trained or their employees are gonna be trained? Because if they're not going to, I assume we're gonna a lot of customers, they're gonna have problems. We have Jackson, member Sasha, and my concern is if we're gonna have this kind of problems, there will be no consumers, nobody interested in buying those cars or getting those gifted cars.
Oh, that's a great point, Jorge. And you know, as the businesses agree to sign up so that we prevent that incident, because that's enough of a turn off for a person not wanting the program. We have to ensure that, you know, the businesses, it's not just a matter of the owner knowing, but the folks who work for the owner, that those gift cards, once they agree to participate in the program, that they need to be honored. And so, yeah, I mean, we have to make sure of that so that it doesn't become a problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
But by and large, those were the exceptions, but you know, they obviously occurred. So we have to make sure they don't occur.
On,
I-
excuse me, sorry. On that, you're saying we need to ensure this, the HR and the customer service, who are they? That if a consumer has a question or a problem, they are calling the city, they're calling Gifty, they're calling who if there's a problem, and how does it get resolved?
For this program, we would give the local contact, meaning someone from the city.
So there's an expenditure there for a city employee to.
Well, you know, certainly just like any other customer request, but Yifty has, were you able to get, he's on the phone?
And actually, I just have a person that would work on anything that would reach out directly to the business or even a consumer that bought the car, they have a problem, and take care of it.
How far are you from City Hall, Barry? Can you just drive over here?
Come here. So we can understand him. I can't understand half the stuff that was saying.
Yes.
Can you repeat what you said, Barry?
Yeah, I have a staff person that worked with Baldwin Park the first time, and any kind of issue that the business had or purchase a gift card, it gets resolved very quickly. So we'll get that function out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, maybe if you can speak slowly, so we can all understand here. Oh, yes. And close to your phone, maybe, and try that.
Just alerting the chamber that he has dropped out of the call.
Can you repeat what he said? Shirley, did you understand?
Are you there? Barry? I didn't have my speaker on.
I'm just letting you know Barry is not in the Zoom call.
David, I have Barry on on the phone.
Oh, my mistake.
Barry?
Yes,
Okay, repeat
I,
it.
I can't, I, I can't hear anything except for you.
Okay, repeat it a little slower.
Okay. No, I have a staff person that worked with Baldwin Park the first time, and that same staff person would be involved in it this time. So anytime that a business had an issue or a question or a concern, or if somebody that purchased the gift card had a question, that staff person will take care of it. And I didn't hear anything that wasn't resolved to the liking of either the business or somebody that purchased the gift card. And we do this currently we do it with 10 different cities. We're very skilled at it, and we work directly with EFT to resolve any kind of issue.
That sounded much better. Barry, one scenario, I don't know if you heard an actual scenario where a business had subscribed to the program, but then when it came time to redeem the gift cards, that they wouldn't accept them. That's where the question is, who does the customer go to? Should that occur, and whether you have experienced that as a couple of the board members did in the last round.
Were you able to hear Enrique?
No, I can't hear anything. The first time the program was in place, I wasn't aware that there was very many issues, and if there was an issue, we resolved it.
Okay.
I have one more question. Instead of Yifty, why are we doing Yifty compared to like what we're doing with the youth sports and having the business apply for grants? Is there a preference on why? Do we think that this is going to generate more sales? I just want to ask that.
Yeah, I think we have an understanding and a knowledge of the platform now, if you will. So that's really the reason.
You say the first time that this project was placed, it was very successful. And how successful was it? Are we going to have any problems if we start it again? And for X reasons, there's a lot of employees that they're probably not going to be trained properly how to handle these new gift cards. I would like to see this program to be successful and not to be a failure.
Yeah, no, I think I mentioned the start of the first phase was slow, and much of it was from the business's own hesitation to take on something that would either be burdensome, like you said, or too bureaucratic in implementing it, keeping track and whatever. So the start was slow, but then as they spend a little bit of time understanding it, they realize it's pretty simple and straightforward. Not without, issues, but those were the exception more than not. And so, yeah, we cannot say that there's not going to be, any issues. As you heard Barry talk earlier, that, those are quickly addressed, but, those should be the exceptions, and we expect those to be the exceptions, Jorge.
And what percentage of the business got involved?
So we ended up with 21 businesses, which, for a first rollout, it's a good number. And as this propagates and becomes more popular, more known, that will grow. but 21 businesses quickly went through the $100,000. So, you know, it's a good amount. Of course, we are very respectful of the fact that it's a good chunk of money. And but you know, 21 businesses alone were able to subscribe it.
So do my peers up here feel like we can vote, or do you need more information? Just gonna put that out there.
I will say to get more information. I would like to see well, more information to see how this thing's gonna work and study a little bit more about it. Because I never got involved in a project like this that it was implemented before. This is new for me, so I would like to get more familiar with it. I'm not saying that I'm against it or for it, but anything to help the community and sales tax also for the city, I will go for it. But I need to get more information about it. Like I said, I'm not against it or for it, but it's something that we need to look at it very close.
Like I said, I would like to hear from local businesses if they liked it last time, if new ones would be willing to participate in this before we should invest this or think about investing, because those are the people we're trying to target and we haven't heard from them yet.
Yeah, I'm with Sasha on this. If we can have the some type of an agreement of the past 22 businesses, that's like, hey, yeah, we're good for it. Maybe that already could generate more businesses before we pour in the money.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. I concur. Just more information and see where the other businesses lie. And then make a decision then or to figure out it is a wanted program by the merchants and the community. So I agree completely.
Is that okay, Enrique, then if we table this until next month?
I mean, of course, I'm not ever going to go against the will of the committee. The only consideration, because we do want, if this is going to go, which we want it to go in time for the holidays. And once we get into October, we will miss that window. So we can definitely, you know, shopping season starts ever earlier, right? I think Sasha has started hers. So if we come back in October, and keep in mind, this still would have to go to city council. And we're well in November. And it takes about 2-3 weeks for it to roll out, if not with EFT. I would really urge you to, if you felt comfortable enough, but you know, if you don't, then you don't.
Yeah, I don't think we do. I know me personally, I'm kind of on the fence because I do understand the fact that we want to, stimulate business and so forth. But if I'm doing the math correctly, I'm like, I don't know that we're getting back. And again, I understand what you're saying. It's putting money into the businesses to long-term generate more beyond Gifty. But again, I'm just not comfortable at this point.
I agree with you. I'm not comfortable either.
I think we'll just table it, Enrique. I mean, ultimately, if it doesn't have an expiration date, I mean, people would still benefit from it, right?
Also, one idea for Yifty, if we do decide like later on that we want to do it, if not just the holiday season, what we can do is highlight. I know this is gonna take staff time and everything, but what might be beneficial is to highlight in like the Baldwin Park Weekly, like bi-monthly news to be like, check out this business. They participate in Gifty. You can buy a gift card that we're supporting right now and support them and highlight one of those businesses if we miss the holiday season, because people are still going to be wanting to shop. People are still going to be doing that. Like I get the appeal of doing it for business for holiday season because you're like, oh, I can get it 2 for 1 essentially. But I I personally feel as a consumer, I don't mind waiting if we do it right and get set it up for success.
So you want us to bring back more information in October?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll bring some of the businesses who participated
Yeah.
for testimony.
I specifically want that. And if you can get any new businesses that might be interested, would love to hear their feedback as well. But that's specifically
Absolutely,
what I would
yeah.
like to know.
We'll invite a few of the businesses and maybe even some of the prospective businesses who did not already participate but think would be good for them. Okay. We'll definitely do that.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, Measure BP Sales Tax Financial Update.
Good evening, committee chair and members and everyone. I'm very pleased to provide you the financial updates. As of October, we received a new revenue in the amount of 664,000 added to what we had previously received, 8.8 million, and plus the interest income, and total revenue generated is 9.632 million. With the revenue we have received, we have allocated portion of the revenue we receive to 8 programs or projects, which enhance the safety of the community. As you may see that with that revenue, we get new police car and radio, and we are going to do something for the bus stops to enhance the ADA compliance. And another example that we are going to provide improvements for the Morgan Park, which related to recreation that provides so many different programs to different ages, such as to senior citizen and to the young children and things like that. And the beautiful Zogaro Park that we have going to have grand opening, and that will give the city, that will give the community and Bowen Park resident another beautiful park to enjoy. So with that said, we have committed about $4.165 million from the Measure BP and leave as a projected fund balance as August 31st in the amount of 5.467 million. And any questions? I am happy to respond. So far, as you may see from this financial update, and it has, this Measure BP has done so many great things. It has continued generated steady revenues. As you may see, just in August, we received over $664,000. Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to take any question you may have.
It may not be for you, Rosa. The bus stop enhancement, that don't ring a bell. I thought we tabled all that. That's I'm like
Which one, Greg?
the bus stop enhancement.
Yeah, that's a placeholder. Rosie it wasn't approved.
Yeah, like I mentioned, these 8 programs and projects, they are allocated, and not all of them has committed, but they are allocated.
So that's a placeholder, as Rose said, that you haven't yet taken a final action of disapproval, all approval, but it's a floating number, meaning it's,
It says approved by SOC on 312, and we didn't approve it.
yeah, no, it's approved by the SOC. It hasn't been approved, Rose.
Yeah, it's, I apologize for that. Contingency.
If I
I-
recall for
I
that,
am
if I
going to-
recall for that one, we were going to get more information
Yes.
after there
Yes.
was a survey that was
That,
gonna
that,
be
that
done.
Yeah.
due back.
I apologize for that. I'm going to provide update on that to make correction. That we have discussed that but hasn't been approved. Sorry about that, and thank you for catching that.
My next question, going first line is 11 police cars committed and not yet spent. We've spent the money or we've approved the money and the cars are on their way or they're sitting in limbo?
It has
that-
been approved, but however, the purchase has not been finalized, right? Has not been completed with all the 11 police vehicle.
We do have police vehicles at the dealer. I believe we have 5. 3 are getting outfitted, 2 more are coming. So we're getting them because of the order. I think it's Dodge. They're feeding them as fast as they can, but we're waiting with everybody else for those same cars. So they're coming in. The radios, we have received the radios. The radios are being distributed now. We have new radios for all the cars. So each of the cars are getting their upgrades as they come in, and also the ones that we have now.
But what we will do to make sure that the SOC sees and feels, we will organize some way of you seeing either an installation or the delivery of a car. In the case of the radios, we will do a visual with a car that had a radio installed in it and either before a meeting here so that we don't have to do a special review. But something bigger like the delivery of new cars, we'll do a special ceremony for you to preside over that and take it for a ride maybe.
I have another question or maybe a request. I think it's a good idea to kind of keep us informed because I think it'd be great also for the community to know what we have spent, and also see that it's actually being used, especially when it comes to the sports complex. I also see that it's still not yet has been spent. So kind of just to provide a little more transparency onto all of these expenditures that we have approved, but yet have delivered anything on.
Yeah, I think at the last meeting, we gave you a brief update of where the RFP for the sports complex was, but yes, we will. And
I think one of my colleagues mentioned this and it's skipping my mind, but I think even going beyond and putting it in the Baldwin Park Now and social media again, so that aside from getting updates here or just even the fact that we get to see it, that it's also being promoted citywide in different ways so that the community can see.
yes. So we'll definitely commemorate each one of them, from the large and the small.
Yeah. Any other questions for budget?
Not concerning the finances, but I do have a question.
I think that'll be, not Pastor Jackson. Do you have anything on the budget? Okay. No? Okay. So next we will move on to, the Stakeholder Oversight Committee, August 13, 2024 meeting minutes. It's recommended that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on August 13, 2024. I motion that we approve the minutes. Can I get a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Pastor Jackson. I keep forgetting, Shirley, does this require a vote?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Member Hernandez,
Yes.
member Marta Carcamo,
Yes.
member Orozco,
Yes.
member Rodriguez,
Yes.
member Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jackson,
Yes.
Chair Lara,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. So now we'll move on to Stakeholder Oversight Committee / staff requests and communications. Pastor Jackson.
Yes, something was mentioned last meeting about, something that needed to be done at the senior citizen. They had to call your office and let the office know that we need this or that before it gets on where we can vote for it, like, the machines that they needed.
For a request for funding?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they, they can make the request to you here and then you say, we want to see it come to the committee. So like the chair
There
had
was a
indicated,
request, last, meeting.
that's coming next month.
That's coming next month.
Yes.
Okay, that's one of the things that I like to know. Second thing that I would like to know, I'm not one of these instant people. I'm one to like to think about things before I actually deal with them. Is there any way that it can be project be brought to us without voting on it, without knowing about it, even though we know that we get a weekly report before we come here? But it's presented to us, and then we vote on it. Is there any way that it can be presented to us and then for us to think about what we need to do before we
You
vote
just
on it?
did that today. If
Yes,
you don't
we
feel
did.
comfortable, you don't vote on it. But you know, we can only have so many meetings. I mean, if
Yeah.
we are going to have pre-briefings and on top of briefings, then we'll be briefing all day long. So we'll bring you a proposal. If you feel good voting on it, you do. And if not, you continue it and ask for more information. That seems to work fine.
Don't you guys think so?
Now, in terms of communications, Madam Chair, I don't know if we were able to place a hard copy, the community grants that you, okay, know that that is out. You know, applications will start coming in. Maybe some have already come in, but it'll be in effect until October 31st. Okay?
I do have a comment for that. Thank you for posting it on social media. I saw it and I was like, this is amazing because other people that are following are able to see what's being offered.
Absolutely. So you know, that's your good work,
Anybody else?
Member Mata.
Okay. So we are ready to adjourn this meeting. If there are no further comments or questions or requests, I move that we adjourn the meeting at 6:35 PM. Thank you.
6:30.